Ladies and gentlemen, the Conservative Daily Podcast is back, and we're going to educate Joe on the word trash one more time. And now your host, Joe Altman.
And?
Tig Taggart.
And I got my old lady.
He has his old lady, his cracker.
All right, first off, we do not allow anything.
His trash cracker.
Who let the Hillary Clinton thing on the show?
I did not. I did not let it happen.
You own this thing and
I
you
did not let
her
it happen. I did not. Hey, listen.
Come on, man.
Hey, stop it. You're stop. Yeah.
No. I deal with a lot of things.
Somebody is going to go bite this.
She's literally busting my.
Oh. Hilarious, guys. Hey, Joe, before we get back into it, earlier you did say the word trash. Did you not?
I did say the word trash.
So Max is like, dude, make sure that Joe knows what's going on. So here we go. The synonym for trash today is filth. It's foul matter that mars the purity of cleanliness or something. So I like that one probably the best. But just remember, every time Joe says trash, we let him know. Gentlemen, you are back.
All right. So, hey, listen, I was walking by Tigway was outside, and I go, hey, you want to get on the show? Max got a little sick. He couldn't be with us because he's sick. Yeah, I didn't think he had a Starbucks. I was making sure he didn't have a Starbucks. We were going to have a problem if he had a Starbucks.
That's what you had in your car. It's all I see.
That is not. I don't have Starbucks. I haven't been to a Starbucks.
Nothing but the Starbucks trash on the floor of your car.
See what happens? See what happens? That is absolutely not true. Yeah. You just move this. Actually, we're having all sorts of trouble today. Tig looks like a little man. Tig looks like Carter and Biden. You know, the little puppet. This.
I don't know why. So I guess I got to scoot up.
Yeah, scoot up a little bit.
But then I'm like, my belly. I'm working on my belly. It's touching the table. It's just weird.
Yeah, you're a little bit further away. It's kind of. Let's just.
It's like a Pillboy's Doughboy. Pillberry's Doughboy.
So in this hour,
this used to be a serious podcast.
Yeah, it actually mostly is a serious podcast. This is going to get pretty serious, actually. Dude looks like a lady. Oh, I'm sorry. We got a first. Before we do that, we want to make sure that we thank our sponsors. And one of our sponsors is if you want to help a Christian conservative candidate to campaign win or serve in office, all while staying true to our shared biblical values, we have a way to do that. Go to How to Run for Office as a Christian Conservative, the new online course from former U.S. Congressman Bill Redmond. It's the only comprehensive campaign training with a biblical world view. Check it out at runforoffice.training/CD. Use the special Conservative Daily discount code of CD10, that's Charlie David 10, for an additional 10% the already super affordable price. And people will go, hey, listen, I don't want to run for office, but you probably want to know how to run for office. Because we might be able to convince you over the next 3, 6 months, 9 months to run for office. And so you want to be prepared for that. And if you don't want to run for office and somebody else does, then it might be good to actually know what to do to get somebody to successfully win and take back your area from these leftist terrorists. In service to our great country, we must all work together to glorify God through government for such a time as this. How to run for office as a Christian conservative. All the info is at runforoffice.training/CD. Okay, so I want to take it. Yesterday, I went through all the things that we're dealing with as a country. The border. Now we have, we have our own Congress people that are actually turning against Israel. Israel being the small country in the middle of the Middle East, getting attacked by Hamas.
Well, they've been doing that since they got into office,
But the point is it looks like they're speaking for our foreign policy. They're speaking and saying, hey, we're not going to support Israel. Then there were fights and protests on the street as if these Hamas people in the U.S. can stand up and basically they were bashing the United States. They were bashing Israel, and we're supposed to just tolerate it. We're supposed to tolerate that.
Well, I think Hamas, they stood up in Ilhan Omar's freaking neighborhood last year and actually did a parade when they're in the middle of the city where the buildings got all burnt down and pretty much said we're going to burn this place from border to border. And I know a lot of people don't know about that because obviously mainstream media is not going to throw it out there. But, yeah, Hamas had their own little parade.
Well, what's even more horrific about it, I think, collectively, is that There's no one in government. Biden or others are not standing up and saying anything. And I wonder how you could be Jewish and vote for Democrats. How could you? How could you vote for this leftist terrorist organization that are nothing but pedophiles, rapists, and closet racists? How does that even become a thing?
Well, I'd just say, in general, how could you vote for Democrat?
Period. Being they've destroyed everything they've touched.
Yep.
Everything they've touched, they've turned to trash.
Pretty much.
Filth. Hashtag the left are liars. So I got this letter in the mail, and it's not always great. It's not always great. You last year, there was a couple week period of time where you were getting hammered by the media.
I know.
And the hammering was so bad that I would call you and I would go, "Hey Tig, how you doing?" You go, I can't believe they wrote that about me. I can't believe it. I said, you have to let it go. I mean, they're writing bad stuff about you for, I don't know, the better
2014?
Better part of a decade. You have your own fan club.
I know.
But it's the stuff that you get that reinforces what you do from people that just take the time to write something that changes everything for you. So I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to do this. I'm actually going to read this letter.
Dude, you got it from some idiot out wandering around.
I did?
Yeah.
No.
Des Moines, Iowa. Idiots out wandering around. I'm from Iowa. So I'm one of those idiots.
Zero of those idiots. I'm reading this because so my wife sat over my shoulder. She goes, "What is it? Somebody sent you a letter, Joe. Can you read it?" So I started reading it. I didn't read it out loud. She walked over my shoulder as I flipped it over, and one of the things that it says is, "I want to thank your wife." So my wife started crying because the sacrifice has been as big of a sacrifice for my family as it has been for me. It has not been easy. These leftist terrorists attack me, I attack back. So to me, I don't care. I'm in the fight. I'm all about the fight. I've never seen a fight I didn't like. Now, I don't go out and pick fights, but I don't like bullies. I don't like evil people. And that represents everything about the Antifa BLM movement. They're all evil. They're evil, 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 fascist, Nazi, communist, garbage, trash. So I'm going to read this to you on that. And I'm not going to read her name, but I do know that she does listen very often. So I want you to know that it did touch my family. I want to say thank you to you. So here we go. It's take 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Hi, Joe. I'm writing to you from my home office in the middle of Iowa. I've been paying bills this morning and listening to interviews on Telegram. In an hour, I'll head to another interior painting job. That's my profession. Started out of necessity 15 years ago, and my husband was forced into retirement from farming and from his position as a leading Republican representative in the Iowa House of Representatives. Thank you for his service. When he had served 8 years. I'm a registered Republican. I'm conservative, and I'm a sister in Christ. I say sister, but it says sister. And I'm young, 59 years old. I watch national politics fairly closely and have taught our 2 children to do the same. Since November 3rd, 2020, I've been following the alarms, the discrepancies, the discoveries, the misinformation campaigns to keep myself educated about this election theft and attack on our country. I paint 9 to 10 hours each day, come home for a few hours of home and family, then study the latest updates for 2 to 3 hours. That's been my pattern for months. You are one of the sources I have been following. It's been months now since I first heard you reference the call you were on when you first heard about Eric, the guy from Dominion. Your attention to that small detail of that call will become such a huge thing as this coup is unraveled and justice is carried out on the foreign and domestic enemies. I want to thank you. I thank your wife too. For she is in this battle with you. You've shared some of the sacrifices you've made, but I'm sure we haven't heard most of them. No, I haven't. I'm just glad God pulled you into the fight where you say, I don't want to be. It is so obvious to me that our country needs you, needs your attention to detail. We need your faith. We need your obedience to the instructions from the Holy Spirit. We need your time. We need your influence. We need your attitude that you never walk away from a fight. I am grateful that the Lord has placed you here at this time. I don't have much to offer you in terms of help. Like millions of people in the U.S. and abroad, we worry to help, but don't know. We want to help, but don't know how. If you have a task that is a farmer's daughter, former educator, wife of a statesman, small business owner, and mother can do, send it my way. Meantime, I will continue to ask the Lord to guide you, to protect you. And your family, to protect your property, your finances. Again, thank you.
I just want to say Slim Shady.
Slim Shady. I'm glad you said it.
Because every time you say my name is, you
Yeah.
said it like twice. I was like, I just want to say Slim Shady so bad. So I had to correct the ice too.
I appreciate it. It is hard sometimes. It does get to the point where you don't want to be doing it.
That's the truth.
And but I said today that we would talk about. So I want to say thank you to who wrote the letter, and I didn't use your name because I didn't feel it was appropriate.
Slim Shady.
But I did want you all to know that it is letters like this that keeps me going, keeps Tig going, keeps all of us going in this fight to save our country. That brings me to the fight.
I think the strangest ones that I get are the ones from people overseas. And they say the same thing that people here. Like, I'm glad you're in the fight. Like, holy freaking cow.
Yeah. There's people paying attention everywhere.
Yeah.
And yet
of course, they always want my signature, so I always send something back. But yeah.
Hey, can you sign this for me? So it gets to the fight, Tig, and I've said it before, and I already know that the FBI and the CIA are compromised. I don't put them in the same category as Back the Blue. I can't. Not because I don't believe there are some of them that are good, but I believe the people that are really good in those organizations are not standing up to this establishment, this woke establishment that's destroying everything our country stands for.
The biggest problem is because they're all educated by all these liberal colleges, and it just destroys their mindset and their patriotic duty to this country. I think everybody should have a patriotic duty to the country that they live in.
And what then we have to get to, how do we solve the problem? If everywhere we turn there's corruption, we talk about the border. We know the border is a major problem. 178,000 kids that have come across the border just in the last 5 months. We talk about what's happening with the drug trafficking, the human trafficking, the big problem. I feel like there's 100 holes in our boat, and we wonder how we can solve it. How do we solve the corruption in our government? How do we stop Fauci from doing the things that Fauci is doing? How do we put ourselves in a position where we can fight against it? And I've been hesitant to say that it's going to take. I have said if you take our country any further from here, blood's going to spill. You're going to have to spill blood, because I certainly am not going to let it happen. I know you're not going to let it happen, but I don't see a lot of options when HR 1, S1, they're trying to pass a bill that keeps these people in power and allows them to destroy our very way of life.
Well, I think the biggest, so far, I mean, a lot of the left, or Democrats in general, they've been electing younger and more vicious individuals. And
right.
I think we got to do the same thing. Our politicians are a bunch of pansy asses. I don't know if I can
They're
say
compromised.
that word, but they're again, it's just, I think we need term limits. Because all these people, again, like Liz Cheney, all this other stuff that's going on, Biden, I mean, dude's been in office since before I was born, I think. And he'll probably be still in office after I even die, whenever that's going to be. But, we need term limits. People need to quit using our tax dollars as a retirement and income. They need to just go to office, do what they can, and get the hell out. That's my opinion. What blew my mind when I started getting involved after the whole Benghazi conspiracy incident, just the hierarchy that's in Congress and in the Senate. It's like, no, we need to be in here for decades, because that's how we gain our power. That's how we become up here, and then all these other lower people down here. It's like, I'm sorry, but they were elected. They're on the same level as you, Dick Cheney or Liz Cheney, whatever the hell her name is.
Liz Cheney, yeah.
To me,
well,
there should
Dick
not
Cheney
be,
Jr.
there should not be different levels of hierarchy inside elected officials.
No.
But there is, and I think that's the biggest problem. That's what's destroying this country. Again, we need term limits. We need to get these people out of office. Regardless of how good they are, how well they're doing, they need to move on and get a life instead of living off the tit of our government. Well, not our government, of us. I think that's how we fix it.
Well, I think that's a
where it
part
starts.
of where we fix it. But I think that when they go to the streets, we have to finally meet them on the streets. I actually think that the reason why we're where we are right now is that we stopped punching people in the mouth for being unethical. And look, I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just telling you right now that if you come to my house and you try to steal something from me, you try to rob me, there's a high probability that you're going to need AirMed Care Network. I'm not going to read it just yet. But if you come to my house, you're going to need AirMed Care Network for sure. And they're going to have to fly into the cul-de-sac and park the helicopter there because you can't get to my house very easily.
Yeah, you can land in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. All right, so we have a caller. Lawman is on the call, and he just retired. He just retired as a police officer down in Florida. He's also a part of UADF. So, Lawman, welcome to the show.
Hey, Joe.
How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm good. Hey, Tig.
So, I heard a little birdie told me that you were going to play your last call on the show.
Hey, Joe. I did. Well, I sent a video to Josh. Hopefully he can play it.
He has the video queued up. So while you're on the call, we're going to go ahead and play it. This is to honor Lawman, who just retired as a police officer in Florida. Before we do that, I just want to say thank you for everything that you did during your career. Here we go.
Hey, everybody. This is the last call. I'm done. Sector 25 Alpha.
25 Alpha, guys.
Can you log me off 10-7 for the last time?
10-4-1803.
That's it. I'm done.
Terminal 3.
Retired. See
Terminal
you guys
3, go ahead.
soon.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I got to tell you, you said in the comments that you didn't get emotional, and I almost got emotional, and I'm not an emotional guy. And I got emotional for you.
You know
just the thought of having you on the streets and doing the work that you've done. And
You cry every time you see my dog.
I do, kind of. I love your dog.
What's funny is when I showed my wife Eve the video, she cried.
Yeah. Because every day you went to work, she worried about making sure that you were going to come home.
Or maybe
I'm actually tearing up now.
I bet. That's a hard thing to back away from, after so many years. But, again, thank you for your service. And like we talked earlier, I'm going to be down in Florida next week, actually doing a book signing down there and at the Nine Line office and down around Miami. I don't know the exact address, but I know you can't make it because of what you got going on. But anybody else wants to try to come out, me, myself, and another guy, Uncle Sam's Misguided Children, we're going to be down there. But I just had to bring that up since you're in Florida.
Yeah, I wish I could. And we've had those reservations to go up to Tennessee for about 2 months now.
Well, I got to tell you, as a listener of the show, and it's an honor that you actually gave us the opportunity to play it for you. But the thing that I think that ran through my mind when you actually did your last call was the thing I just said about your wife, and that is she's making sure that you came home safe every night. And this is kind of a culmination of all of those days that you yourself went to work thinking to yourself, hey, this could be the day. This might be a day that I have, that I'm in a position where I could lose my life. And I don't think many people understand that feeling. I mean, if you didn't serve in the military, if you weren't putting yourself in harm's way, if you weren't a police officer, you got used to it, you would say. Yep. But it's still a big burden to carry.
It is. And every day I left the house, I kissed my wife and I told her I loved her, and because that's true, you never know if you're going to come home or not.
Yeah, well, thank you. All right, so let's talk about it. I'm really excited for you now because there's another chapter for you.
Yes, there is.
But I'd love to talk to you a little bit about your experience in law enforcement and just how it changed over the years of being in law enforcement. I mean, in the end, what did it look like? How did it feel? What were the conversations like? Can you talk about that at all?
Sure. Yeah, it wasn't even close to what it was like when I first started. I mean, when I first started, people respected law enforcement. If a cop told you to do something, people did it. Towards the end, there was no respect for us, at least not from the criminals. The regular people, they still respect us.
Yeah, the people in the community respect you, but the mainstream media, the terrorists that have allowed for criminals to run amok, my guess is that they made it very difficult for you to do your job.
Well, now they're looking for a payday. That's the thing. If they disobey and if they don't obey your commands and you do something, they end up suing the city for millions of dollars. And it really nowadays it seems like it pays to be the criminal.
Yeah. There was probably less respect from younger people than there were older people, my opinion was that was basically because of the way they were raised in the home. There was no discipline with these kids, and they just ran wild and did what they wanted to do, and the parents let them.
Yeah. Well, I used to tell my kids, I've had to spank both my kids have gotten a spanking once in their life. Just once. And my daughter, I'm going to tell this story because she's going to get mad at me, but she chased her little brother around the room with a butter knife. It was years until she was allowed to have a butter knife at the table again. And but I whapped her on the butt. But I would tell them all the time, I was like, I will tear you out of your skin. And I know both my kids were like, what would I look like if I didn't have any skin on? There was consequences in our household. And those consequences have made my kids turn out amazing, but we don't have those consequences anymore.
No, we don't, unfortunately, and that's the reason that young people they don't respect police. They don't respect anybody, not even themselves. I don't think.
No,
it's crazy.
I think, and that's why this is why I get back to the part where we have to get to accountability, and accountability is going to take the strong arm. It's going to take accountability. It is going to take us exercising force, and I hate to say that, but I don't see any other way.
So going back, discipline. Well, I was watching. I don't get on social media too much, but I got on social media and actually saw a video.
Because you got kicked off.
I know. Now I'm under a different whatever. Anyways, so watching again, some states the schools can still spank kids with paddles, and I think they should still do it. I think a
100%.
lot of kids need their asses beat all the way up into freaking high school, and I think that's where it starts because parents ain't doing it. People say, well, you shouldn't punish your kid, you shouldn't spank your kid. Look what's going on in society right now because the greatest generation when you used to get your butt whooped, now this pansier, weaker generations is going up now, and you don't spank your kids. I spank my kids if they do something. I don't beat them, but I spank them. And I think that's the problem because if there's no repercussion for your bad actions, which, again, I'm sorry, but pain is the best way to deter somebody from doing something.
Yep.
You're not beating your kid. You're just saying, hey, you do that, you're going to get punished, and here's your punishment. You're going to get a whooping, and you're going to go stand in the corner.
I got beat as a kid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got, with belt with freaking metal freaking rings in it. Freaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Me too.
And guess how we turned out? I mean, at the time, it sucked. Let's say what it is. It sucked.
But there are people who take it to the limit. Like, I mean, my mom's one time, she freaking actually knocked me clean out. And I was in 5th grade, I think. So, again, some parents do take it, to the extremes. But, again, I'll spank my kids, and I think we need more of that. We need more, if parents ain't going to raise their kids at home, do you want to send them to school? It's what they're pretty much 90% of the parents do. I won't say 90%, but they send their kids to school to be raised. But then when the school punishes their kid for doing something bad, and they come in and defend the kid and not the school, that's where you run into problems. The same thing with law enforcement. A cop comes, and arrests their kid, does something because their kid was stupid. They come and yell at the cop and not their kid. Right there, that's the problem in society in itself. I'm going to yell at my kid.
That's true.
And then if I think the cop screwed up, I'm going to yell at my kid. Then I'm going to go back later and ask the cop, what the hell are you doing? You don't do it in front of you don't degrade the law in front of your kids. It's just just like you don't do it in front of the other parent. When the other spouse did something to the kid you don't think was right, you don't do it in front of the kid. You agree, and then afterwards you go back to your spouse and say, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, you're teaching disrespect.
Yep.
And my son, and Lawman, am I allowed to use your name, Rob?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, it's too late now. You just said it.
I figured he did.
Good job,
I just saw in there that he actually divulged it, so I didn't. And I said it. So Rob, let me ask you. Actually, I want to tell you this. My son came home one day, and he was in, I think, 9th grade or 10th grade, and he goes, "Yeah, so there was a parent, and he was yelling at me, so I started yelling back." And I looked at my son, and I just wanted to get a little bit more information, and I go, "Whose parent was it?" And he goes, "This kid in our class," and I just told him, "You're not my dad." And I go, "Oh." So I got online, called the school, found out who the dad was, and I go, "Guess where you're going? You're going to go back and apologize to him. You don't get to talk to adults like that. You could walk away. You can respectfully disagree, but you do not get to disrespect adults, period." My son was mortified. He was like, "I have to apologize now?" Yes. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And so from that day on, my son thinks about it when he goes back in the situation, and he lost a lot of privileges. I was like, "Okay, listen, you get no privileges for the next couple of weeks. Nothing. Zero. You can go clean the yard. You can go do other things." But and at the time, I think that what we've tried to become today to our kids is their friend.
Yeah, and not their parent.
And I tell my kids, "I'm not your friend. I'm your dad. I'm your dad. I'm your dad. I'm your father. I'll be there for you. I will protect you.
I'll be your friend when you get the hell out of my house."
Yeah, we can have lots of time to be friends when you're older and have kids. And I say, "I told you so." Told you so.
Yep. Yep.
Do you have
I
kids?
will tell you one thing. I mean,
Go ahead.
no, I don't have any kids. But I will tell you one thing. When I did something wrong and I got spanked or I got hit with a belt or something, whatever it was that I did, I never repeated.
Oh.
I never made that mistake again.
Well, at least you're smart. I did. I kept doing the same thing over and over again. I'm a thick-headed, hard learner. I guess that's why I joined the Marines.
Yes.
But I'm a firm believer in corporal punishment.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is perfectly legal.
Yep, it is. The problem is, again, then you got the kids who learn that, from other kids, like, hey, if your parents spank you, you can turn them into Child Protective Services. And instead of Child Protective, backing the parent when the kid just got a spanking, all they do is they just reinforce the bad habit, and it's we're going down a bad spiral.
So
Exactly.
Rob,
exactly. I've been on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say I've been on so many child protective investigation calls where that's basically what it came down to. The kid was bad, he got punished, and then called DCF, and we would go out there and I would just tell the parents, look, if he mouths off to you, slap him in the face. If he deserves a spanking, give him a spanking.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing.
And I would tell the kids that too.
Yep. So I had one incident with I got a stepdaughter, and she was a teenager at the time. Everybody knows how teenage daughters are. They're pretty much about the same till they're 50, I think. But anyways, so same thing. She was being bad, and I gave her a little smack, and she ran across the street, called the cops, said I was abusing her. The cops came over. They asked the same thing. What'd you do? She was doing this. I smacked her, and they looked at her, and they said, how long has it been? It's been about 30 minutes, I think. She had no red marks, no nothing. The cop goes, well, if the red mark lasts longer than an hour, then you can call us. Until then, don't call us again.
Right.
So again, they're taking the discipline of how you raise kids, how you school. I mean, they're taking all the parental controls away from you technically and put it in the hands of the state. Is really what they're doing. Because if you do one bad thing, next thing you know, they're involved in your life. Even if it's not bad, it's just,
That is
again,
true.
you do something like you take all the belongings away from your kid, and they call the cops saying they're being abused. Next thing you know, they're in your life, and that's
I know.
that's not how it should be. It's destroying our society. It's destroying our ability to actually raise our kids the way we see fit, not how the state see fits, not how my neighbor sees fit, how we see fit, how I see
Right.
fit.
Unfortunately, a lot of parents
Are not
are
parents.
afraid of DCF coming into their life, so they don't punish their children when they deserve it.
Yep, exactly.
I think that's just a part of having courage, right? Courage is more infectious than fear, and we have to do the right thing. And sometimes the right is what's right is rarely popular, and what's popular is rarely right. And so we have to make sure that we're standing up for our children. If we don't fight for our children now, I think the fight right now is it's gotten to the point where it's past the house being on fire. Our kids are already burning. They're already getting burns.
And it's not really just like me standing up for my kids. It's him coming to help me stand up for me
100%.
and my kids.
100%.
So again, because everybody's fighting this battle by themselves instead of going to and say, hey, can you help me go and show support with me, come with me. Again, just like when we go in and battle some of the bills and stuff, we come together to go fight things. We got to do the same thing to help protect our kids and the next generation coming up, so we're not a bunch of pansies and undisciplined, just disrespectful individuals.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
Rob, I want to thank you again. I think I might have you on a full show for an hour and just talk about that. And I also want to tell you that in my role as the founder of FEC United and as his role as a founder of FEC United and UADF, it is now your obligation to actually start those down there and get it started in Florida.
Boy, he just
you
called
can't
you out.
can't be doxxed. That part's over. So this is an active recruitment for Rob on the air. I just want to thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm already. Not only am I a member, I think I'm kind of running Florida for
Yeah,
TIG.
he's UADF state president.
All right,
He
good.
just came
well,
on board.
Yeah.
well, both of those need to be coming up together. But I do want to thank you again for your commitment. Thank you for the phone call. I got to do a read, so we're going to let you go. And when we come back, we're going to talk
Joe.
a little more about this fight. God bless you.
Talk to you soon, man.
I'll talk to you guys soon.
So
All right.
I want you guys to know something. First of all, I got to read this to you. This is one of our sponsors. Obviously, I'm now a member of this, so we all want to make sure our family's protected in a medical emergency. What many of us don't realize is that the health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. And you would say, hey, it can't happen to me. It's the 1%. 1% could cost you $30,000. Even with comprehensive coverage, you can get hit high with high deductibles and copays. For $85 a year, you can become a part of the AirMed Care Network membership. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. AMCN providers are called upon to transport more than 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage that no family should be without. That $85 is for your entire family. It's not just for you, it's for your entire family. So if you break it down and you have 4 people in the household, it's $20 a year. It's, 8 cents a day. It's the cheapest coverage you'll ever have. And obviously there's other coverages where they can fly you back home if you travel a lot. That's really good coverage to have as well. So that is AirMed Care Network. And I sat down and told my wife about this, and I go, hey, listen, I think we should do this. She's like, $85?
Dude, you live in the middle of the city.
The way you drive? I don't live in the middle of the city. I live on land in the middle of the city.
Now, I live in the middle of nowhere, which I should probably get this because.
So we're going to take a minute and talk about FEC United and UADF, United American Defense Force. Everyone that's listening should become a member. I feel like we're talking about sponsorships and $85 here and, hey, go buy that book. Yeah, it's called Boycott and Boycott. But one of the things that Rob was talking about was making sure, and what you just said is standing up for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you have a problem with your kids, that we come to support you. We don't allow this radical leftist ideology of anything goes to stand. And so at FEC United, one of the ways that you can get involved. You can become a member. And if you go to fecunited.com, there's a place where you can actually join the movement. It's right up front. You can set up your United membership. Once you go through and you just tell everyone who you are, if you're a leader in the faith community, if you're a parent, you're a teacher, you're a business owner, you're interested in running for public office, you're interested in volunteering with FEC United, if you want to start a chapter or charter in your state, this is where it all starts. So you can go to members.fecunited.com to register, and then it'll send it to you at $60 a year. And then UADF, UnitedADF.com. That's the other side. That's the Defense Force side. That's the part where it's a humanitarian organization that works in the community to protect us from this radical leftist, protect us from the things that are happening in our community. And frankly, also you've gotten involved in things such as the search for.
We've done a search even for Susan, who she was killed or disappeared last year, Mother's Day, and the husband was actually just arrested. But we went out trying to do a search for her. We did a search up north Colorado for a toddler that went missing. And again, we just try to do whatever we can. Again, just get the community to come together. 8 months old, we still got some struggles, but we're ironing some things out, and we're slowly getting involved in helping battle the human trafficking, which is going to probably get 1,000 times worse with a lot of the immigrants coming across the border. All these kids that are coming with no parents, no nothing. I guarantee you about 40% of them are going to be trafficked.
4 kids were found by a farmer in Texas.
Abandoned.
One was completely naked. What do you think that was caused by? What do you think happened there?
Yeah, I mean,
think about this. You walk upon 4 kids and one of them's completely naked.
Yeah, it's
horrifying. And nobody in the United States wants anyone to suffer. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying close the border because we want people to suffer down in South and Central America.
The thing, these people have to go somewhere. They have to be, again, a lot of them, they're going to be on the streets. They're going to be trafficked. They're going to be pimped. You're going to see them they're going to see them in pornos because that's the only thing they're going to be able to do. They're going to be, consuming trafficking isn't just sex trafficking. It's also labor. They're going to be in pretty much labor camps and, not getting paid, because they can't do anything because they're here illegally. Because if they go call the cops, they're going to get, they're going to get arrested themselves and deported.
And that's what they tell them.
Yeah.
And they're not given access to the fact that and the ones that get across the border that aren't intercepted by Border Patrol, we have no idea what happened to them. And here's the worst part about everything that they're doing, that forced labor, sex crimes, you left one out, Tig. You left one out. Organ harvesting.
Yeah.
They're killing these kids. This is a big business. Dr. Bregan, when he was on in the first hour, talked about the fact that pharmaceutical companies do anything for power, authority, and money. Greed.
Look at Fauci.
Speaking of Fauci, can we actually play this? This video is Tyler Fisher. He's a comedian. So this is his video, and so I'm giving him credit for this video. This is Fauci. Let's go ahead and play it.
I'd say even if you live alone, I would wear a mask in the house, especially in the shower, because frankly, droplets can make their way through the drain and come up through somebody else's toilet, infecting them with COVID through the anus. Ballpark, in 2 to 5 to 20 years, we can start thinking about considering the idea of pondering the thought of conceptualizing the possibility of maybe, perhaps reopening, but probably not. I would avoid having any fun whatsoever in the near to far future.
just to make that light, that was Fauci talking about whether or not we could have fun. And I could not stop laughing. It was unbelievably funny. So somebody just said, I need this video. Well, guess what? Share the podcast and they can watch the video. How's that? See how that worked?
That should be played at every pod.
At every podcast?
The droplets of the
come up through the toilet into the anus. Are we allowed to say that word?
I'm such a kid.
I don't even know if we're allowed to say that word.
I don't know.
See,
It's
this
still
is
fun.
why. So somebody said that we should do a show, and I go, this is why we can't do a show. Our show would be banned by everyone in the world.
I almost got banned last week for my show.
And you did, actually, and it was a great show.
Yeah.
It was a great show. You guys didn't see the Modern Patriot show. You can go to conservative-daily.com, go to podcast, go to Modern Patriot, and watch the show that Tig had last week. It was really, really good. Yeah, so that's truth, though. That's Fauci. That's what we have to deal with.
So we go back to like how they want us to buckle down, still wear a mask, still social distancing, all yada yada yada, but yet they're letting thousands upon thousands of illegals come across the border without being tested.
Correct.
So you know where the next wave is going to come.
Yeah.
Again, so the Wuhan China virus is not it's not fake, it's real. But I think the pandemic is fake in itself. Yeah, it's killed a bunch of people, but it wasn't the primary cause of death. It was other underlying issues of why a lot of people died. I mean, look, pneumonia and the flu is gone. A lot of heart attacks went down. And so, there's people who died in a car accident. They labeled them as COVID deaths. A kid got smashed by a TV. I hate to say it, but it got smashed by a TV, and they labeled it as a COVID death.
Like a TV. Like, so if I were to grab this TV in front of us and smash you with it, that's what happened to him, or did it fall on his head?
He was climbing up on the dresser.
Oh,
and he had the
that's
TV up on the
terrible.
dresser, and it fell. It was one of the older, heavy ones, I guess. But again, it was a COVID death. So it's like, what are the true numbers? Show me the true numbers, but they won't.
Why would they?
Because they want to. They
Why
want
would they?
to let people
It's
live
propaganda, guys. Propaganda, indoctrination.
in fear. Again, 0.4% of this country.
So now I'm going to tell you what the blueprint looks like. I'm going to tell you what the blueprint looks like at UADF and what it looks like at FEC. We're going to talk quickly about it because, frankly, I want everyone to understand that this fight is just beginning. It's just beginning. If you think it's hard now, it's going to get much more difficult. But we got to get in the fight. When Antifa goes to the streets, we have to go to the streets after them. I'm going to say it again. They go to the streets, we have to go to the streets after them. In every single city, we have to have 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. Save up your vacation time, and when they go in the streets and try to do something at night, we got to go in there and we got to make sure they don't do anything. I'm not going to walk the line. I'm going to tell you exactly what needs to happen. In Colorado, when UADF showed up in the streets, what happened?
We reduced their effects. Well, they can protest all you want. We're not there to stop people from protesting. We're stopping you from damaging and beating people up and, just being violent with the community. And that's it. That's the only reason why we're there. Protest all you want. You have the right to protest. You should protest if you're pissed off. But you don't have the right to destroy and beat people up just because you're pissed off and because your mommy didn't, raise you right.
And but that's the thing is we have to get toe to toe.
Yeah, you have to get involved.
We have to get toe to toe.
So
we are not going to win this back by letting them terrorize and make people live in fear. And if the police aren't going to do anything because they are basically told to stand down, then we must not stand down. They don't stand up for American values. Sorry, it's not what we're going to do. And I don't care if you like what I'm saying or not like what I'm saying.
Just like there's a big rally going on this weekend, the 15th, pretty much almost across the country, all kinds of places on the 15th.
I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be downtown. Again, do we know the numbers? But no, we don't. But we're going to be there. So there's not another Back the Blue rally where, again, Antifa, BLM rolls up, starts hitting, 70-year-old, grandmas in the head with skateboards.
And murdering people. Mainstream media murdered someone, set up a deal, and murdered a patriot.
Yep.
A guy that makes hats.
Yeah. And again, we can't be scared. We got to stand up. We got, like Joe was saying, we got to go toe to toe. We do as much training as we possibly can. And if people show up for the train, they show up. We've actually been having some pretty good turnouts for the most part. But again, just because you don't do the training doesn't mean you can't show up. Again, this is America. Everybody has a right to defend her. Everybody. I don't care if you can be a felon and still join UADF. Obviously, you just can't carry a gun. We just got to know. Everybody does a background check because I don't want no freaking pedophiles. I don't want no domestic violence individuals, especially repeated domestic violence. Again, just doing what we can to make sure we don't have any Epsteins in their group.
So Jason says this, I'd love to, Joe, but I'm not going out alone or I'll end up in prison. I understand what you're saying. That's
you
why
ain't going out alone if you come with us.
That's why we're talking about FEC United and UADF. FEC United is the organization that works on faith, education, commerce, the things in our community that are most important. You become a member at $60 a year. Become a member of UADF. Guys, it's super important.
And when you become a member of UADF, you also get a U.S. Law Shield. Again, that helps. If you got to defend yourself or somebody else, it doesn't have to do with a gun. Even if you use your hands, it's a defensive protection, insurance per se, that it's mandatory. It comes with your membership fee with the UADF. And so, again, it helps with that legal issue. For what you were saying.
Well, and Jambro said that Primetime Patriots will be there. I want you to know something. FEC United and UADF will combine forces, and we will stand with any other organization. So if you're really passionate about your organization and you don't want to be inside of FEC United or you have your own group, great. We can stand together. We can still stand together. It doesn't matter about FEC United other than the fact that it stands and it has principled foundation that is working. In Colorado, we have scared the death out of the Democrats. They're scared. They write bad stuff about you, bad stuff about me. They make stuff up. They lie all the time, and we continue to fight.
I mean, they pretty much slander me for the most part.
Oh my gosh! Did you see the new article that I said that they actually put in the article this Heidi
Springs
Beadle,
one?
Springs one. I get sent all this stuff. They did this article and said that I said that they were recruiting kids to be gay in school. They are. Gender fluidity is a recruitment tool to recruit kids at a young age to be gay, to be transsexual, bisexual, whatever. It's telling kids that it's okay. You're not a boy. You can hold on to that. Wait until you're 20 years old. Then you can decide whether or not you actually want to be a heterosexual male or a heterosexual female. You get to decide. Then that's recruiting kids to be gay. That's disgusting. That goes against all the values that anybody in the United States who is not an evil terrorist should support. Period. So if you're asking me if that I'm completely against gender fluidity because I think it's trash, it is trash. And the people that are involved in it are trash. And the people that are in Antifa are trash. And the people that are in BLM are trash. They're trash. They're total garbage. And FEC United, UADF, and all the other organizations across the country have to come together. We have to stop bickering over stupid stuff. We have to. And frankly, we have to show up. That event that is happening in downtown Denver on the 15th is also happening in cities and countries around the world.
Yep. It's worldwide.
It's worldwide. And you know what we're saying? We've had enough. So get off your couch, put your, nacho cheese pork rinds down.
So isn't the 15th
get out there.
Veterans Appreciation Day, right?
It is.
So why don't you go and appreciate your veteran by showing your support for this country and standing up?
Yeah. Look, we are at a critical place, and we never want to talk about how critical it is. It's so critical. We're past critical. You don't wake up every day and there's a new problem and the place is basically burning to the ground. And now you have foreign countries, foreign entity, Hamas, Hezbollah. I speak Arabic. I understand what they say, how they say it. I've sat in rooms with them.
I had never understood Durka.
I have a lot of Arabic friends. I have a lot of Muslim friends that are good people. But they don't stand for the extremism.
Nope.
The extremism is what we have a problem with. Guys, liberal ideologies when it comes to social issues, I'll let God work out most of that stuff, except for abortion. I'm completely against abortion. I am pro-life 100%. You don't get to decide to protect 95-year-old grandma or great-grandma and not protect a child that can't protect himself or herself. You can't do it. You can't. I want to protect my kids. You want to let the school system burn our society down and say, hey, listen, I want to go over here. I got a better idea. Let's homeschool our kids. Well, how much are you going to do? They're still going to take the same amount of taxes. Then they redivert that to Medicare and give it back to these leftists? Mm-hmm. And you want that to be okay? No, we have to stand up. And President Trump said something. He goes, we are the party of law and order. Law and order doesn't exist anymore, folks. Nope. It doesn't exist. So if it doesn't exist and the rules don't apply to you and they get to persecute you and give you 87 months for peacefully walking into the Capitol because you're not allowed to as a taxpayer to walk into the Capitol. No, it's an insurrection. Let me tell you something. If we go and create an insurrection, they'd know it.
Yeah, they would.
This is not an insurrection. And if you're a veteran out there, what sacrifice is willing to be? What sacrifice have you already made? They did a poll that said 67% of the people that are in the military support Donald Trump.
It's probably more than that.
How are you? But that's the ones that would actually talk.
Yeah.
So 67%. And we'd say, hey, look, we don't want to take this by force. They are forcing our hand. They are terrorizing our kids.
But the thing is, though, also, there's nothing you can do if you don't band together and start working together.
Right.
You can't just come together one day and say, let's go do it.
No.
You're going to get your asses handed
It's
to you.
consistency.
Yep.
It's consistency. And we talk about becoming a member at FEC United. We talk about becoming a member at UADF. And you think that, it's about money. Neither of us take money from either organization. So what do you want to happen here? Do you want us to go out there and sacrifice and you stay at home? Okay. Then hit the donate $10,000 button, not the $60 button. And we'll go find people that we can bring in for the fight. Guys, this is too big, and gals, excuse me. I don't want to leave gals out. I found that grandmas are actually the biggest fighters that we have out there. They have the most courage.
Oh, dude.
It's unbelievable.
We got a lot, yeah. Even in UADF, the same thing. We got a lot of older ladies that are like, let's go, let's do this. I'm ready. I'll take a hit. And I'm just like, it's like, nah, I'm not going to, no. You can come, but you're not going to go out there and stand in front. Mm-hmm. But they're willing to. That's the crazy thing, man. You got all these alpha males. The problem with a lot of, I'm going to say the alpha males, their ego is too damn big, and they can't handle working with people, again, especially military guys who are civilians or just don't know exactly what they're doing. Their ego is just getting in the way of actually standing and fighting together. It's kind of insane. But, it's kind of to be expected. I can kind of see it when I was contracting, dealing with a lot of the type of people that, again, wanted to join UADF, and they just don't know how to calm down, for one, and teach other people what they're doing.
Yeah,
how to do it.
There's another problem that we have, in that there is a concerted effort to punish people who are patriots, people that are standing up. The people that are actually arrested for January 6th,
they're still in jail.
They're getting beaten.
Yeah, one dude lost an eye.
He lost an eye. Another one that has cancer. They literally put him in solitary confinement. This is the America you live in? This is China.
That's Pakistan.
And by the way, they don't have any rights. They've taken all the rights away.
Which is insane.
You can't make phone calls. Can't see your family. No basic humanity inside of these systems. And they're being allowed to be beaten in our country by these leftist terrorists. Let's call them what they are. They're terrorists.
Again, you can back the blue, but you can also not support the blue in certain
That's
ways.
not the blue.
These
are
the correctional officers.
Correctional officers. Okay.
But they're still cops.
Okay.
Technically.
Yeah, technically.
But still, I mean, it's so for something like that, I guarantee people obviously, what do we do? How can we fix it? Do we do the Million Man March?
Is it a million or is it 100 million?
March on the frickin' Capitol.
People, they're trying to lie to us and say that 63% of this country supports Biden.
No, they don't.
The drooling Biden that can't get 20 people to show up for anything.
He had the lowest rating in speaking in Congress. I wouldn't say it was a State of the Union address, but
nobody cares about him.
It was like 11,000 or 11 million views.
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
not even. It's not, and half of those people, if you looked at some of the places where they were actually broadcasting it, were you're trash, you're trash, you're trash, because he is trash. He is trash. Pino.
What's happening?
He's trash. Kamala Harris saying nothing about the border. Nothing's happening there. No. You had the head of DHS come out and say, There's no one coming across the border. The borders are closed. They're what?
Yeah, they closed the doors so everybody's coming across the freaking Rio Grande.
Wow.
That's why they're fighting 4 kids, in the middle of nowhere on a farm.
We have had our time where we could talk. We're done talking. We need to go down and secure the border. If they can't do it, we can do it. We are Americans. It's our country. Of the people, for the people, by the people. Did we forget about that?
No. The government is we the people now, remember?
No, it's not we the people. The government is trash.
That's what Biden said.
Yeah, well, screw Biden. He's trash.
So are the 2 people sitting behind him that day.
You have governors that are sending letters to Biden rejecting a plan to house illegals in the states. Unacceptable and unsustainable. The time for letters is over. The time for action is now. So if you want to be a part of something, you want to actually look. We have a meeting in Denver on Thursday. I'm going to walk through all the 100 holes we have in the boat. We're going to walk through them all the way. Education, big problem. They're coming for that. They're going everywhere. Second Amendment rights, First Amendment rights. We're letting the big tech companies actually become parts of the government.
Yep.
They actually stand for the government. They can do whatever they want. They can silence you whenever they want. Come in and say, hey, you can't say that.
Is Parler down?
Parler is up now, but you can't actually get to it from the app.
Oh, is that what? So that's the issue.
Yeah, you can't get to it from the app.
I thought they deleted me too because
I don't understand it, and it won't keep you logged in. And then Parler, run by a guy, frankly, they got rid of the guy that was for free speech, and they put up a new Parler, and then they're making new deals with Apple and Amazon and everything else to
it's all about the money.
It's all about the money.
They don't care.
It's not about taking a stand.
About you.
The guys at Gab at least take a stand.
Yeah, because it's crowdfunded, isn't it?
It's a subscription base.
Yeah, same thing, I guess.
Guys, if you want to make a difference, you got to get involved and you got to put money. If it is all about money at some point, because in order to actually do the things that we need to do, we have to be well funded.
Yep.
I'm meeting with people every day, and I'm like, hey, listen, I need you to put in 50 grand. I need you to put 100 grand in. I need you to build, put $1 million. I'm having conversations with people that keep talking about the fact that they're in the fight, and they're like, okay, so I'll get in the fight. Don't use my name. I'm like, okay, no problem. And then I go, why not use your name? You're retired. You've done really well. Why can't I use your name?
Well, some people they'll say like their spouse is still working, and so they need to protect them too. So again, even with the UADF, we got members that are like that. January 6th.
Well, I'm talking about one in particular who's listening to us right now, and he's probably giving me the finger.
I do that all the time. But January we lost a lot of good members because the same thing. They were coming down, cracking down, saying we're gonna start labeling these groups as this. Put people on no-fly list, and again they want to attack anything or anybody or any group that's going to stand up for this country to what the right believes in, which again is stop the lawlessness, stop the rioting, the looting, the injustice that is going on. Just like that the teenager who killed the Uber driver. She's getting like 2 years in prison, if that.
2.5.
Yeah.
So killed a guy. Took him away from his family.
Yep. Tried to carjack
That's all it's worth. That's all it's worth.
Killed him.
Walked past his mangled body looking for her cell phone.
Yep.
That's what our country's going to. That's what our country's going to. Okay, so we're gonna have to wrap it up. But I want you guys to know that Max will probably be back tomorrow. If he's not, I will be back, and I'll probably drag.
Did he catch a liberal?
Yeah, he got a Triactin.
Nice.
We're gonna need to give him a Triactin. Triactin like a man.
That's sexist.
Sorry, Max. Yeah, or Triactin. All right, so guys, I want to thank you guys for coming. We've talked a lot. The first hour we talked with Dr. Peter Breggin. He has a new book out. You can actually go order his book. I just ordered it myself, and that is the COVID-19, the Global Predators. You go order his book. If you want to become a member, if you want to open up a charter or chapter across the country, we will be doing that for FEC United and UADF. Until tomorrow, listen, I want to say something that I always say. Number one, God is still at the wheel. He's still in the middle of everything that we're doing, right? And somebody says, well, Joe, it's not very Christian to say that we have to go fight and we have to stay in the street and that we have to go toe-to-toe. It is, actually. I'm from the south side of heaven. And that's how we handle things on the south side of heaven is we hold people accountable and we stop them from bullying and instilling fear in our society. All right. So my name is Joe Oltmann.
John Tig Tigan.
And we will see you tomorrow.
Well,